Back to the story. Is it a good thing in there? Oh, I know it is. I know it is. We got another plaque today. Did any of you go to the historical exhibit for the manufacturers? It's downstairs. Please, if you did not go, you need to go.
The flooded room?
Yeah,
the flooded room, yeah.
That was closed today, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was closed.
Well, no, it was closed because they were having a special reception for the sponsors. So it was only closed for a little while. That's where we got a plaque. But anyway, we sponsored that because I felt like it was a good thing for everybody to see where we've come from and where we've come to in Milwaukee. So it went back to the 30s, I guess. And they had a separate case for each decade. And then they have a timeline telling what happened, what the significant things were in that decade. It's very impressive. If you didn't go, you should go and look at it. Pardon? Oh, it's available tomorrow only for pickup? I think it's probably going to be. I think we're not picking those up though, Bruce. I think. Okay.
The first room at the end of the first floor.
They're not for sale. Well, anyway, try and go. I think that a lot of people are going to donate these items for a new railroad museum, the model railroad museum that's being built, so that people can see where we've been. You know, it's interesting to see what happened in the past and what's going on right now. Okay, I've already changed over to this. It's open tomorrow. Okay, Bruce says it is open tomorrow. If it's not open tomorrow, I see him, beat up on him, not on me. You come to the show and beat up on me. Move it along. Okay, so I'll give it over to you.
No.
Any questions about the move? Anything I've said so far?
What's your total staff?
Our total staff, we have 32 is the current body count. And 2 of those people do not work in the office. Those 2 guys. Dave and Marty. Dave and Marty.
2 guys I don't recognize in the audience.
Those 2 guys, because I don't see them every day. No, I hear them every day, but I don't see them every day. Dave works from Savannah, Georgia. Marty works from Houston, Texas. And that works out pretty well. Works out pretty well. That way they can cover their different areas of the country. And Marty's open a little bit longer at night because he covers California. The staff size is actually down from previous years because we've made so many efficiency improvements in the new factory. We're actually building more product than we ever have, and in a more timely way than we ever have. So we're very excited about those changes. Any other questions of an administrative nature? Okay. So AJ, what did you do this year? What did you do this year?
Made a few things.
What is that? What is that? So what? He's getting all shy. Okay, this is a DH465. It is an HO size decoder. And I apologize, I did not bring any of these with me tonight. I left them in the hall and I couldn't get back in there to get them. So you'll have to come to the booth and see them in person tomorrow. The DH465 is 5895, I think that's a typo. It's a high current wired decoder. It's good for HO or O scale locomotives. It's something that you guys have been asking for a while. Something more than a 1 amp decoder to, you know, like if you want to run 2 engines together or whatever, you can use the single decoder. Or if you want to run a motor, a higher current motor, you can do that. Okay, I'll talk louder. It's soundbug compatible, which means when you buy it in this form, it doesn't have sound on it. But you can add the soundbug product by plugging in right there, and you can add sound. So you can have sound or not sound, depending on what you like. Any questions on the DH465?
How many amps?
How many amps? 4 amps. 4 amps.
I guess I can't read it.
4 amps.
It does more than that, but 4 amps is pretty good. It's 4 amps plus.
And how many functions?
It's like
6 functions.
6.
And what features does it have that they might be interested in, sir?
It's got wires on it.
It's got wires on it. What else has it got on it? Any questions about this? No. The DN135 series of decoders. We just announced this at the Houston Intrac convention just right before that, about a month ago. It is different from other in-scale decoders that have ever been on the market because it has a detachable harness. Those of you that are in HO have been used to the series of the series of decoders where you can unplug the harness from the body of the decoder. So you can wire the harness into the locomotive, and then if you have to remove it for any reason, or if you wanted to share it among locomotives, you could unplug it and move it to a different locomotive, unplug it, send it back for service if it needs to be serviced, or whatever. So that's a new thing in scale. The decoders come with either this harness or with the PS harness, which is really more applicable to HO scale. It's a full 1 amp decoder, so it can be used in N or HO. You might not realize that, but when you see an N on any of our decoders, that means that's the smallest locomotive we would recommend it for, is something in scale. All our decoders are rated at 1 amp, so they will work in HO as well. Even if it says N, it will still work in HO. Okay? So 1 amp, 3 FX3 functions. It's very cost effective, $18.95 MSRP for the wired version, for the PS version, $21.95. This is the PS plugged into a locomotive. Very economical, very basic, but it's good for a fleet decoder if you want to equip a lot of locomotives. It's a good deal. The wiring harnesses, if you want to buy those separately, there's a 5-pack of just the harness. This is this harness. If you want just this part here, that's a single DNWHPS short harness. That's $5.95 just for a single. And then there are dummy plugs. We haven't produced them yet, but we are taking orders. They'll be produced shortly. And that would allow you to put a dummy plug on the end of this harness if it were wired into the locomotive and you wanted to remove the decoder to run it on an analog layout. It would run as an analog locomotive without DCC.
It's also narrow enough to go in scale hook easels. So it's actually narrow enough that it fits. So if you wish to have what we've had for many years in HO, the DH123 and those, it's the same sort of concept. So we're finding that it's for in scale.
The in-scalers wanted it. It was hard to find a plug and socket arrangement that was small enough to fit in a narrow in-scale diesel. How many of you are in-scalers? Yes, my people. How many of you are HO people? Wow. You're my people too. For those of you who don't know, I am personally an in-scaler. That is what I do.
What about all?
What about How many O-scalers do we have? We do have some.
G-scale.
G-scalers. O and 3.
G-scale? G.
Ah, okay. Z. No Z-scalers. No Z-scalers. Nobody that's that insane.
Gee, Florida ought to be perfect for G.
There are a lot of G-scale locomotives in Florida because it's great for outdoors and yeah. So interesting things coming in G-scale. Any more questions on this?
Like EMF?
Pardon?
It looks like EMF?
As a got back EMF?
Yes.
Of course. Just it.
It's real small.
It's very, very tiny. It's very tiny. Come and see it in the booth tomorrow. Seriously, it is very, very small, and it's going to do a good job in a lot of applications, especially if you don't want to spend a ton of money.
And it'll do 1 amp continuously forever?
1 amp continuously, yes. 1 amp
So
continuously.
this will plug and replace any of the DH160 line if you wanted to from a current capacity?
Yes,
So you
rated
can
the same. It's just got a smaller connector, but it's effectively the same, or slightly better decoder. So it's an economic way to do the in-scale, but it's just a
So
usable
you get it the
HO.
size without losing anything at all?
That's correct. In fact, it's a better decoder than the DH123 and costs less money. So what's not to mind about it?
And let Zana say that she's selling a lot more amp, even if we put it in HO stuff.
Yeah, no,
And thereby justify her hobby even further.
yeah, we're very happy with
And
this.
it's all part of her master plot.
Who loves you, man? Did you have a question, Mary? Can you add sound to that?
It's a Vibe series, which means it's compatible with sound bug. So you could add, on the red and black wires, you could add a sound bug as well at the same time, absolutely.
But it's very small. That's its claim to fame.
So-
It's very small and very inexpensive.
My way of thinking is actually an excellent way to go. The only reason we still keep the 9-pin, the HO DH123 connector, is because I guess Athearn has locomotives with the plug in it on a flying lead. So the DH123 163 is more applicable for that variation decoder. But if you have a free hand, this is an excellent way to go. It really is an HO decoder. Just time.